I think I can
Alright.
tell. When it starts streaming, it actually says that there's upload and it says that it's live, so that way you can tell when it's streaming. So today we want to do like 20 videos because I have a fucking text file of a billion fucking videos. We've been wanting to do videos for like 2 weeks. There's all this shit that's happening with Comics Gate or whatever the fuck. Oh shit, come on. Come on, motherfucker.
Where's the thing?
I got an email all of a sudden. You're fucking up my stream email. But anyways, did you find your folder?
Yeah, I've got it open.
You found your folder. Anyway, so we out of the many things we wanted to do topics about with Comics Gate or fucking Move the Needle, I guess, and all the other inferior versions of
I have
comic
no
like
idea what it is that they want to move the needle with.
they
What
want to
is
basically
moving?
promote well, again, that's for another video, but they essentially want to promote comics that are just going to be the same old comics that we're already selling the same amounts already. And most of it's just going to be
I mean, they just
cape
want to keep making
shit.
more cape shit.
Shit. I'm starting to wonder now that we've gotten a few of our like 10 fans, a few of them apparently just have taken to when we say cape shit. I'm not sure if they're gonna get really tired of us laying it on when we say cape shit. Because it's not like we invented the term. We just
No,
are the best at using
we
it.
just perfected it.
We have perfected it. That to me is perfection. That to me is perfection. So I figured, though, what we would open with is a sort of side by side review of two comics, two classic, I would say shonen manga. Every time we say manga, we have to correct it to a more incorrect pronunciation. Well, I mean, not that there is an incorrect pronunciation.
Just because, weeb shits get so infuriated.
Yes. They're the to be honest, weebs are actually the easiest people to offend in the history of the human race and the internet, but it's become the great lie that they aren't. Like oh, somebody always says what other group is the easiest to offend. The fact is it's always been weebs, and we have known that because we have trolled weebs into a frothing rage just with like two words that we say on accident that has no intent to offend and is factually correct. I remember one time I trolled the ever living shit out of every weeb alive just by saying that I played the Xenosaga demo and it was pretty obvious that id was just Faye's alter ego. It's like, is that going to be the? And so it's like, that's a spoiler. Take a spoilers. And it's like, hey, all I did was play the demo. If it's that easy to call, it's clearly not a good. It's not a good game, and it's not well written.
And
It's
guess
for
what?
stupid people.
You ended up being completely
Yes.
correct.
Now, instead, today we're going to review a couple of comics that aren't actually for stupid people. Both of them are action-y comics with lots of punching and punch action. Both of them are also comedic and fun. One is
But
called
one is definitely much more comedic, successfully comedic
One is
than the other.
funnier, one is better, one is consistently better than the other. But anyways, the two comics are Buttlord GT and the other comic is One Punch Man, the comic or manga, but we call it comic or Japanese comic. It's
Manja.
called Japanese comic. Yeah, for some reason they refer to it with offensive Italian stereotypical words. Manja. I don't know why people call it that. It's the Italian word for eat. I don't know why Japanese people call their comics that. It's kind of silly and dumb, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that we're gonna put them head to head and see which comic is better. And the only downside is that I really only have pages of Buttlord GT to show, which I'm just
But
gonna
that's
scroll
really
through.
that's all that matters. If you want to go and read One Punch Man, just go to mangoreader.net. Mangoreader.net.
Mangoredo.net. No, no,
No,
that's not it. Is it
no.
watermarked on this picture. Oh, I cropped this, so now I guess not.
You just ruined it.
I
You
just, but
ruined it.
I'm opening the video with this lovely picture from one of the later chapters. Now, what I did with one, instead of just coming right out and saying Buttlord GT is the better comic of these two, because that would be spoiling it. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, we'll tease it a little bit. We'll tease that our conclusion that Buttlord GT is the superior comic by saying, now I was reading One Punch Man. We actually was recommended it, the One Punch Man by Sissy Weeb, who is one of the most effeminate and hypersensitive of all weebs, who are the most effeminate and hypersensitive people on the face of the planet. But he was correct, just as any idiot could be correct, that One Punch Man is a fun, entertaining comic. And if you haven't seen the cartoon, also known as anime, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Animer.
Animers, China cartoons. But if you haven't seen the cartoon, the comic is actually not only easier to find and read, but it's better paced and I would say funnier and more entertaining than the anime, because the anime includes a bunch, they shoehorn in a bunch of scenes that weren't in the comic that have nothing to do with anything and aren't funny. And they do that to fill out the runtime of an episode, because the arcs in One Punch Man, the original comic, not only the original comic, but the original comic. Apparently, the comic was originally a web comic, very sketchily drawn by someone who didn't really know how to draw at all. Very cheap drawings, just drew them in big stripes down a fucking MS Paint file, basically. So it's very rudimentary, simplistic art. Apparently, the artist writer was just a Japanese salaryman who wrote this comic as a hobby, and ended up becoming so popular that it got the redraw by an artist who's excellent. Actually, I would say one of the best manga artists, or at least has the best crew working with him, because it's excellent art, but it also has a great understanding of sort of comedic expressions and faces. Because when you look
Which
at
I
the
wanted to make sure to explain. The Japanese don't usually get.
yeah, the Japanese usually don't understand jokes or humor. To them, traditionally, humor has been mostly expressed with dumb Japanese puns that then require like a fucking paragraph of explanation.
Or like a kindergartner's level understanding of humor, like the man fall down, go boom.
Yeah.
Just really simplistic and legitimately not that funny shit.
Sometimes very fourth wall jokes, like extremely blatant, obvious fourth wall jokes, that can still be funny. Those dust or spider. But anyways,
Spider. We're getting attacked by spiders.
so it was the writer of the original comic is named One, and he was the artist himself too. And then the comic took off with popularity and got this redraw by, I don't really know the new artist names. I just know he's Japanese. Um, and it's very elaborate art of none of which I am showing here, but it's comedic in the way that a situation comedy can be most successful. Sort of like Seinfeld, where it's like some convoluted, or Curb Your Enthusiasm, which was actually the show I liked the most. Where like convoluted interpersonal interactions happen that cause bizarre shit. And in this case, it's about a guy who works out so hard that he gets superpowers, and he becomes literally the most powerful man, not just on the planet, but possibly in the entire universe. And he just wants to. I was going to say, he just wants to play video games, but he just really wants to be a hero kind of as a hobby. And then he gets into the whole professional hero world, which is a very preening world that's divided by ranks that are basically incorrect, because he gets assigned to B rank because he does off the charts the best in the strength category, but then on the written test he just gets an average score. So there's all these S rank and A rank people who look down on him or are like, no, don't go and attack the monster, you will die for sure. And then when he wins, when One Punch Man shows up and kills the enemy with one punch so hard it fucking explodes and it stops raining and whatever other goofy ass shit, all the clouds are blown off the face of the earth from his actual serious punches when he punches for real. And then people are like, oh, the previous attacks must have weakened the monster so much that this B rank guy can. And it's all these kind of goofy situations like that that are fun. But here's some of the problems with this comic. The original webcomic version I read up to, I don't know, chapter 90 maybe. It wasn't really separated by chapters so much, or I think it was pages. It's been a long time since I read it, a couple of years. All I remember is at some point they're going to attack enemy base, and it's all these heroes who are just doing it on their own, and then One Punch Man is supposed to be heading on his way. He has to fucking walk because he can't fly, doesn't have a car, any of that shit. And that's really what most of the fights in One Punch Man amount to is all these other heroes show up and they're like, "Oh, the monster, he's demon class. He could fucking destroy the entire city." And they're fighting him and it's very dramatic. And the whole thing is, it's just waiting for One Punch Man to finally show up and they'll cut to him sometimes like fucking on a bike or just trying to walk there as his robot pal who may have rocket boots for all we fucking know is like, "Come on, master, they're fighting the monster," and One Punch Man's like, "Oh no." One Punch Man's real name is just Saitama, and he's not called One Punch Man by anyone in the comic. In fact, when he joins the the, his hero academia or something, the hero group of heroes, league, I guess you could say, of justice. They come up with his hero name as just Caped Baldy, and he hates that because he's extremely sensitive about his hair. And there's pretty good jokes about all that shit. These situations, um, and even the sort of knowing that it's like, okay, the fight is just completely spinning its wheels until Saitama finally shows up, and it's gonna just take one punch. Usually, he's gonna stand around and be like, "Pff, what's this going on?" And he's always
Oh,
dismissive because he knows how
the
strong he
villain is
is.
monologuing constantly.
Yeah, he's usually trying to cut enemies off of their monologues, which is funny. It's also very fourth wall, but in a good way. It's effective, and it works so much better in the comic, though. Like I was saying, though, the original webcomic, all those good jokes are sharp. They're very quickly delivered. The pacing is fast. It doesn't waste really much time getting to the good stuff that you want to see in the original and the redraw. But in the original, I remember around maybe chapter 90-ish, the equivalent of that area. They were all underground and they were digging and they're like, "Oh, we got to get through this," and "Oh no, help, I'm being buried by the cave-in," and "Oh, I'll get me out with a shovel, I'll get a shovel," just like, who cares? I really cashed out there, and only recently I was like, I should read One Punch Man again, but really, if I'm going to read any of it, I should just read the redraw because that's the most official version. That's the most official form of the comic. And I don't really know why the comic isn't more popular, but recently, around chapter 90, instead of them being stuck underground, it's a bunch of it's the anti-hero monster who wants to kill heroes. He's the hero hunter named Gauru, which I'm pretty sure is either Japanese for wolf or Japanese for animal, monster, animal, noise. It's a fucking actual name named after a fucking noise, like Gao. Just supposed to be the sound of a dog barking or something. It's ridiculous, but
Which is clearly not what the sound of a dog barking
yeah,
is.
it's the sound of a dog barking is bark.
Everyone knows it's woof.
A wolf bark, yap
Bark.
maybe on some occasions. But anyways, and then at this point, Saitama hasn't shown up for like 20 chapters, and it's just this guy like, "I hate heroes. I will use my skills," and he beats the shit out of all these heroes. And it's like all the heroes are fucking underestimating this guy, Garu, and
Guy.
I don't really know it. This guy, he's just pissing all over them, and they just smile and look it up. Whoa,
And apparently
whoa.
they do.
Yes, they do. What does it taste like, though? Personally, I don't know. You'd have to ask Tank. But,
Mm.
but yeah. So the comic is just spinning its wheels, and there's no jokes anymore. Um, and it's finally ended. I've clicked through it enough. I was starting to get really bored of it. And then it goes back to Saitama's entering a tournament in disguise, so he's wearing this wig so that no one can tell it's him. He's like, oh no, I hope this guy doesn't recognize me, that because I'm not really good. But and then that seems to be going into just spinning its wheels with like, here's a bunch of new side characters that you've never seen before. We're going to introduce you to them. Oh no, what trouble are they going to get up to? And it's like, I don't really care, but I'll probably keep reading this. And I've stopped reading My Hero Academia to read this, which My Hero Academia, it's gotten into this point where it's the same thing, where it's like, now we're going to introduce the League of Villains. It's like, okay, great. So just gonna go into stuff, but it's still it's all right. It's not that bad. Now, in comparison, there is a comic called Buttlord GT that was made, fuck, I think it's like 10 years ago now at this point. This was
I
also
think
a
it's
web
even older
comic.
than that.
Whoa. Oh yeah, this says 2002 at the bottom. Holy shit.
Yep.
So this is
Yep.
like 15 fucking years old. Anyways, this was made as a web comic. It's a just obvious parody of Dragon Ball Z, but an astute parody, as opposed to like the abridged version parody that's more like a fawning, like adoration, where people actually start taking the parody plot seriously, and which is sort of the problem that happens with a lot of comedy comics, not only in Japan, like Tenchi Muyo eventually just got stuck up its own ass. It was supposed to be funny at first, which it wasn't. It was just the anime version of Three's Company, but with aliens from outer space and fucking science genius chicks or some stupid ass shit like that. Now, it wasn't funny, and then it eventually stopped even trying to be funny. The same thing happened to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, where they were never funny, but they were supposed to be, allegedly, where it's just stupid things happen, like, oh no, almost saw the girl's pussy. That was funny, wasn't it? No, I'm busy jacking off. No, it wasn't funny.
Well, it wasn't funny, but guess what? I'll still watch it.
I'll still watch it. I'll still watch Sailor Moon to see those fucking whores get ass blasted so hard with tentacles, slapping them, constricting them, their asses literally bouncing into the air. I remember that specifically from a real episode of Sailor Moon. Not even porn, but Sailor Moon, where they were getting blasted with enemy magic so hard that their asses were bouncing up into the air. And they were like higu and stuff. Probably with forbidden pleasure. You know how it is. These whoas, they just want an excuse to get the fizz. But Buttlord GT started as an original parody, and it's only 81 pages. I know that because my fucking copy of XN View says this is page 1 out of 81. Let's see, where's 81? Yeah, the 81th page is a fucking just the sort of splash page of Super Flaming Barbecue, where they're all dead. That's the spoiler for Dragon Ball BTG. Fucking, I mean, Buttlord GT. It's a little late.
Volt Lord.
Bolt
It's a little
Lord.
late.
But anyways,
A little
Buttlord
cooked.
GT, you used to be able to just find it on the internet. I don't think it's up on any website anymore. So you'd have to Google like a zip file on some fucking website or something, or just some empty directory that has a fucking the picture files that you have to click manually on to open in a separate tab or something.
Can you believe there are still places like that? Holy
Can you
fuck.
believe this shit? But anyways, so Buttlord GT was made by two different guys. They sort of alternated back and forth on the art. So the art has sort of contrasting styles. But I would say they're both pretty decent at the art. I wouldn't say great, but to be honest, I don't really care how good the quality of the art is because it's an extremely funny comic. Pretty much every page has at least one funny thing on it that's a parody of Dragon Ball. Funny it's in its own right. There's a couple pages that are kind of like almost outdated meme-ish, spew-ish, um, but still funny. And I would say one of the greatest comics ever made, not merely one of the greatest web comics ever made, is Buttlord GT. And so because of that, because it doesn't have a single lull, it doesn't have a fucking a 20 chapter arc where it just devolves into a guy with a metal baseball bat is trying to fight this other guy who has really advanced martial arts powers, because that's what fucking One Punch Man really dragged in this just big is like 20 to 30 chapters of just this guy whose power is having a metal baseball bat and he's fighting the guy, and it has good action and good art, but ultimately that doesn't really impress me anymore. And I was like, just I started just clicking and clicking through faster and faster. It's like, when is something else gonna happen? Who gives a fuck? But in Buttlord GT, I can read this over and over again. And it starts off with these typical parody characters like fucking Frieza becomes Snowflake. And then I think
He's
that
got
this,
snow globe in his head.
yes, his head is an actual snow globe, and it has an adorable, cozy little cabin and trees in it. And then I think the huge guy is, I think his name is Huge, and I think he's supposed to be like the Vegeta character. But he's way more interesting thematically, and fucking he
Way
has
more
better character
masculine.
dynamics.
It's not the same character at all.
He's not the same character. Yeah, he's not the same character. He's interesting. But anyways,
There's
they have,
actually like certain tropes. There's certain American comic tropes in here too. It's
yes.
not just a straight up parody. It's using it as like a launching board to parody a bunch of other stuff, but primarily it is DBZ.
Sometimes just to be funny. Also, the who was the bald guy in fucking DBZ? The
Oh, fucking bald guy, caped baldy.
not
I mean,
Caped Baldy, but he was like the
oh,
weakest character, and that becomes a joke in this, of course. But in
where
this,
he just blows himself. You mean where he blows himself up? His only attack is to blow.
yes, he
I wanted
blows
that.
himself
He
up,
means his only attack.
and also he's gay, and that's like, oh, you can't do that
Al-
today because making
Almost
him.
everyone in this is gay in some way, either
But the thing is,
gay, like
the joke isn't that he's gay. It's just he's gay. It's just unfortunate, I suppose. But the joke is that he's just also the weakest character, and he's in love with the Piccolo character, who is also gay for him. But he's like so butch that he doesn't like he's just acting like he doesn't care all the time. So there's all these the powering up and trees blowing over. The art here is, you could say the art isn't great. In fact, the art's really small. I wish it was bigger, but it's expressive and it's extremely functional. I think it still looks pretty good, actually, especially for a webcomic. But it's solid, and these are all in GIF form though, which actually works for just plain black and white, not just monochrome, but pure black and pure white. Um, and it keeps the file size down, which in 2002 kind of mattered. I kind of wish that it did. But here's one of the things is that he powers up so much. He's gone cyber huge, and just the fucking terminology they make up for this comic. Cyber huge.
it's like leet speak. Again, this is
Yeah.
2002, so
2D
this is it's
Max.
kind of like internet leet speak for the young kiddos.
Yeah, except making fun of that. So it's not like it's serious. It's
Yeah, it's
very
a
tongue in
middle
cheek.
finger up in their face because, of course, that was also the fucking the audience for DBZ to
Yeah,
begin with
yeah,
was
that was the audience
stupid.
for DBZ, was like kids who wanted to be edgy, hardcore. I'm totally cool, man. You weren't there when he fought Dad. You were spanking to pictures of bread. How did you know you were like 3 months old? That's right. There was an actual prequel comic to this that I think did come out first, and it's like, I think it's he was a baby. I think it's like Goku's son was literally a baby who gets fucking punched. And it gets punched through walls, because that is kind of what happens in DBZ. It's just so dumb.
It's just punching children.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Buttlord GT is. It's the good guy, but it's like if Goku was just a dumb loser, the bad guys are also dumb losers, and the motivations are, completely stock. Oh, they want to fight and be the
I
strongest
don't
and also
I
destroy the
don't want to
universe.
see any of these people succeed.
Yes, yeah,
I
it's
hope
kind of
they
great.
all fail.
It's in a way a great example of a villain protagonist because fucking Buttlord. I guess Buttlord isn't his name. I kind of forget. His name kind of is Buttlord, but I think
We'll
his
we'll,
real
we'll
name is
see.
Kevin, and he's a gayin.
just just Kevin, because they're all fags. Everyone's a fag.
Everyone's just
That
fags.
guy just has fucking, what was it,
Which
the
is
name
again,
tag
it's
on Snow Globe
these days
is
it would be
just
like, oh, you can't
fag.
make jokes about gay people, but back then it was just like a goof. It was just pure tongue-in-cheek goofing around. So it wasn't. There was nothing really to any of it. It was just being foolish and being silly for fun. The fucking. I hope we brought some sleeping bags. Prepare for my ludicrously long power up. In a way, a lot of inspiration and influence from Spaceballs. You can tell very clearly. Wow, I like how crisp the font is here on the timer here. It's literally pixel to pixel. There's no fucking anti-aliening on the
It's
text.
brutal.
It's beautiful.
Brutal.
Um,
They
but
could fight any week now.
yeah, there's just it's full of great lines that have fucking completely the fuck. I love this lens flare too. Is like so low res. It's so artifacted. I don't know if it kind of comes through because it's very monochrome. It's a very monochrome lens flare, and it actually stands out. And everything else is pure black and pure white. But then the lens flare adds some very pixely shades of gray to it. When a huge turns so huge that he's literally just fucking two eyes and a mouth.
Like,
That's all
did
you
you
can
miss
see
the
of
part
him.
where the guy Snow Globe, fucking Snowflake, he turns into I'm a scary monster for some reason, and also he's got a fucking schoolgirl outfit
Oh, it
on.
is after Quad Nipple Mode X. But yeah, there's a bunch of just great
The
lines that
goofy ass transformation sequences, which make no sense.
I especially love this part where just out of boredom, instead of sitting back watching one of the glutes, which is the sun, fucking flies off to punch huge, and then he's like, "Oh no, do you realize what you've done? You started the fight scene. Now we're all going to be drawn by the third string backup animation team. What have I done? What the fuck is happening to my body?" And this is the art that you would usually see in an anime fan comic of the time, especially 2002. Which this then becomes great. It's like bad art as a joke can sometimes be like lampshading, like, haha, I drew bad art as a joke, isn't that funny? And it's like, no, not if you're not really that good of an artist. But this is pretty decent art,
This is part of the joke.
and it's so sufficiently bad that it's wonderful. Where's the part
Because
where you fucking
exactly in the actual show, it's when the fight scene starts. The fucking animation quality kind of goes in the toilet.
well, yeah, usually, I mean, after 200 episodes, well, not after 200 episodes, but in a show with 200 episodes, you definitely got to cut your budget somewhere, which is,
Yeah, so you got a lot of repeating frames of just Zui fighting, and they're all throwing the same punches
yeah, it's a lot
for
of those
15
tactics.
minutes.
And this comic is actually one of the few comics that correctly lampoons Dragon Ball Z without being like, "Oh, it's funny because they fight." And it's like, yeah, that's what Dragon Ball Z originally thought, pretended like it was sort of halfway being a parody of before it got serious. In this, it actually is a parody, a for real parody. And there's just really dumb jokes, and also for some reason, Snowflake
Fucking
becomes totally hot.
huge. His legs are always the same
Yeah,
size.
his fucking legs stay tiny.
I can't change my facial expression. What's all this shit energy? Why does it sound like gay European police sirens?
Not just
That is
normal,
always
not
what it
just
makes me think of.
European police sirens, but gay European police sirens, which
Well,
is
of
what
course,
they
that would
sound
be
like.
the default of the European
Yes.
police siren
But
sound
also,
effect.
why are those why do those sounds are why are those sounds being made in Dragon Ball Z? Who knows? I guess it's part of the soundtrack.
I guess gay European police sirens
A
are
part of the soundtrack.
just naturally occur.
This also is one of my favorite. Ha! I defeated you when you were a baby. I can take you now. And he goes, "Ugh." Crosshatches, which is the not only the ultimate sign of somebody got punched, but I remember I hate to admit how much Dragon Ball Z I have ever seen, but I remember it was one of the movies, and I hate admitting that I even know that too. But fucking Goku is getting so bitched, which is every fight in Dragon Ball Z. It's
The
Goku
show,
gets
the show should just
fucking
be
raped.
called Guko. Guko gets bitched. It's movie one. Guko gets bitched, and then they made like 15, 20 fucking movies
Yeah, they
about that.
in
That's
every
everything.
movie, he gets bitched for the entire movie until the last second. It's just literally ass pulls the victory. He suddenly has the power to have all the powers. But I
The
remember
Deus
one.
Ex Machina shows up
He's
in
getting
the
yeah.
end.
Well, he is the Deus
In the
Ex Machina. He
the
just suddenly
last two
decides to
minutes.
pop it. He suddenly decides to fucking hit the I win button out of nowhere, and the bad guy who is completely untouched the entire fight is suddenly killed with like fucking one punch.
In one hit, which
Yeah.
is again what One Punch Man kind of makes fun of. The one punch is right off at the very beginning.
Yeah, the fights start with the one punch. That's why One Punch Man is legitimately funny and has a lot of legitimate humor to it. And it works so much better in the fucking comic of One Punch Man too, because in the cartoon it's dragged out and then padded out with a lot of padding and filler in between the scenes that you want to see that weren't in the original comic, either version of the original comic, the original or the redraw doesn't have any of these scenes of two characters we'd never seen standing around and going, could it be that he has finally arrived? Perhaps the prophecy. And it's like, none of it's funny.
We used to watch we used to have the show on in the background because we'd have like Cartoon Network. We watched like two channels, Cartoon Network and the History Channel. And so when
Mostly the History
fucking
Channel.
yeah, mostly well the History Channel from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. was the Hitler Channel, which was great.
Which is great.
I got to watch all
And
kinds of
but
Tales of the Gun
sometimes
episodes and
Tales of the Gun was great, but Tales of the Gun is still great, and you can find like every episode of Tales of the Gun on YouTube, and I highly recommend it to anyone living on the fucking planet. But
yeah,
also,
Tales of the Gun 10 out of 10.
yes,
That's our review.
yes, 10 out of 10 for Tales of the Gun every episode. But also, more importantly, sometimes the Hitler channel would intercut itself with episodes of greatest military blunders, the history of anything Japan has ever tried to do in war ever. That was legitimately an episode of history's greatest military blunders.
It's just everything Japan. Well, one of them was in particular. If we're being serious here, it was Pearl Harbor. It was
Yes,
just greatest military. The name of the show was like
it was
greatest
greatest.
military blunders of military history or some fucking
That sounds
basically.
that sounds like an Invader Zim TV show.
Yes, exactly. That's basically what happened. And yeah, it was Pearl. One episode was Pearl Harbor. It's just like you shouldn't. It's like you shouldn't have even started the war. You stupid fucks.
Yes, those stupid motherfuckers. And also, sometimes they would do shows about like Unit 731 and the rape of Nanking. It's like, holy shit, I didn't know that a Nazi actually had to stop the Japanese from slaughtering Chinese civilians. A Nazi ended up being the good guy in that. Holy shit.
Wow, what the
But
fuck is
anyways,
wrong with
so like
them?
I was talking about all this time, we get sidetracked pretty easily. But the crosshatches, there's a movie of DBZ where Goku, after getting punched through mountains for like 20 straight minutes, he has so many crosshatches all over him that he has crosshatches, red crosshatches in his hair. I guess his hair is very injured. It has, it was so stupid, and it was like, People take this shit seriously,
It's
and
actually kind of
this is what the
fucking
world needed
amusing.
was Buttlord GT because of that.
Yes.
In fact,
It
Buttlord
was
GT, too good for
emergency.
this world. Too good for this world. Too good for any anime fan. Anime fans are not good or smart or perfect enough to enjoy Buttlord GT, and therefore they deserve rape. But fucking others, Screw and Master Rolls, two more side characters who I think just die. And where's the part where his head gets just crushed and explodes, and he's like, he is unconscious.
Trying to figure out where that one was great. I'm trying to figure out which page you're on.
There's some. I'm just skipping through a little randomly. There's of course, hold on to your ass holders on page 17.
There's a lot of just really great lines
Oh
here.
yeah, and then he comes out and he tells his own son that they're still standing, so he's not going to join the fight. It's like, I'm getting back to my ship, and I'm not coming out till you're all half dead.
Which, again, of course.
Yeah,
I
which is how
remember in the
DBZ
TV
works.
show, this was the TV show arc. Well, I mean, that's the thing is, like us, you don't even have to have necessarily watched the show very closely.
Prepare to get punched, fatty. Good. That's a good one-liner, isn't it? Oh.
I mean, we were like barely even paying attention, and you don't miss much just by watching
Not
the
even the
show.
supposedly new, shorter version of Dragon Ball Z. I think it's Dragon Ball Z Kai or something, where it's like they cut down some of the fat, so it's shorter, but it's really just still a lot of just dragging its feet. It's slow and stupid and it's meaningless and it's not really entertaining unless you're dumb. Unless you're a dumb faggot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, guess what?
Just the one where fucking the weak loser fucking fires a bunch of energy balls and they're just ping pong balls. They don't do anything.
They're like ping pong balls because he is so weak. And again, of course, that's a very Japanese
He's so weak,
perspective,
it's
where like
laughable.
somebody can be like, he doesn't have the correct bloodline. His blood
Yes,
type is the wrong type.
he doesn't have the genetic dominance. That's what superiority comes down to in pretty much every Japanese anime or manga. It all depends on how genetically superior they are. So if you don't have the right genes, you're never going to be stronger than Goku because Goku has the best genes. Therefore, he's the
I'm hoping they
strongest.
didn't do that in fucking One Punch Man yet. I still don't know because I haven't read up to that
Yeah,
point
not that I
where
know of.
they describe how he gets his amazing powers. It's like people are always questioning how he got his amazing powers.
And yeah,
And it's
and
like, it
I
must be a
don't know
special
or care. I don't want to
bloodline.
know.
No, that's exactly it. It would ruin it if they try and do that. That's the thing with DBZ. It's like, he's from the special genetic stock of the fucking planet of
He was supposed
people.
to be the Prince of the Saiyans or the other Prince of the Saiyans, and now
He's just
Vegeta's jealous
saying,
of how he's actually I don't know. I don't fucking
he's
know.
just saying, he's a kind of saying. I guess it's like
Some kind of
saying,
saying.
fucking,
Here's the part fucking
if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. That's
page
his kind of
21
thing, I
where
guess.
he Destructo Dick activate and he blows himself up.
Just blows himself up and does nothing else.
Oh, and then he falls. He's not actually dead. He just blew himself up.
It's a pretty good summation of a lot of
this
these
this
fights. A
also
lot of
where he
fights.
fucking Screw flips him off and he's, how about a taste of my special cream cannon? And the middle finger blasts such a giant beam. and
It's like when Chrono got disintegrated in Chrono Trigger. It's like,
yes,
and
except he's going,
he's just
alright,
like, and of course, again, the word bubble is just they're having a detailed conversation with each other
yes,
in
as
that
it's
moment,
happening.
and
And
he's
it's
just
funny in
saying, "This
this.
doesn't hurt seriously."
This is this so doesn't hurt seriously is like these days you would see that in a Marvel comic, but it would be painful and annoying. It's funny in this because first of all, this was in 2002, and second of all, you're supposed to hate these characters. You're supposed to
I
find these
hate
characters annoying.
I hate them all. There's not a single person I like,
But then
and
the
that's the point.
hateability, the open hateability of them actually makes me kind of like them.
The next page where he just gets shot in the balls,
That's right.
and that's the end of the fight for him.
But that's the
He just
end of
gets
the whole
lasered in
fight
the
is he just
balls.
gets with a finger blast. Oh Jesus, my fucking balls. That's just funny because it's inappropriate. It's not just ow my balls, but it's just how inappropriate. And plus, it's also very importantly, the fight is already over. It's been like 4 panels since the other fight. He is obviously finished. No one could survive that much dust because of all the dust for which is again something that's
Again,
just
yeah, all they always do in these fucking
yeah.
fights is like, oh, all the dust. There's no way he could be alive, even though I can't see him.
And then you always see them just come right out of fucking dust. It's like, oh. And but then instead of the fight continuing, it's over. He just won. At the end, he fucking zapped his balls with a finger beam, a tiny finger beam, which again is something so dumb and lame. They've done it, but they've done it in Dragon Ball Z, but they fucking have dragged it out in Dragon Ball Z. So it's not interesting. It doesn't have
It's
any good pacing. It doesn't have any good narrative suspense. It goes so slow that you just kind of don't care anymore. You're just sitting there passively absorbing it.
and
And
it's
you
kind of
can tell
gay,
yourself that
but
you like it, but you actually don't. And I've seen people tell themselves they like it when they don't. And here's this part
we
where
never do.
next page where he's fucking underneath the guy and just super beams him so hard that his fucking right it looks like it's right in the balls and his
Blows
fucking
the
arms
bottom of his
rip off.
blows the top of his body off, but he regenerates, which is really gross.
It's just pug god, it smells like snot. Don't do that again. I'm blinded by pain and rage. And then also, haw, you are easy on the knuckles. Just so many great lines in this whole show. And this, again, this punching here, he's just embedded in a wall, just getting punched in the whole groin area, suspiciously in the groin area, but not so specifically in the groin area. And just fucking, that's what pretty much every DBZ fight is, where the good guys just get completely bitched, just pounded into the fucking dirt over and over again.
Until you actually hate them, it gets to the point where you actually hope that they
Yes,
lose.
you want to see them
He,
die. It's
even
sort of like the
he's even
Highlander,
saying
where
that.
it's like the Highlander where you really just wanted to see the Kurgan win at some point. It's like I want the
The
Kurgan to
main
win. I don't want
hero
this
is
loser to win.
kind of dull and generic.
In this, though, in Buttlord GT, it's actually exciting and interesting and fun because it's so silly and stupid, but also the pacing is perfect because it's getting to the point. It's not dragging the jokes out even. It's not dragging the fights out. It's literally just one fight after another of people just punching each other just because they can.
But yeah, he's also like, just let your hidden power take over.
Yes, just hurry up and let you hear it. Here's the part. How about I give you one-way ticket to the next dimension, and then he fucking squishes his head so it explodes. Ah, he is unconscious. There's flies buzzing around his blown apart head. Glutes, you must be finished, or glutes must be finished, because you have a hair boner off the chain. There's a fucking yeah. Another thing is just all the making fun of the ridiculous styles and looks and the silly ass fucking things that happen in Dragon Ball Z, which Dragon Ball Z fans like White Knight for by saying, "Oh, it's supposed to be silly though. It's supposed to be funny." When they make excuses at all, usually their excuse is, "No, it's actually really fun and interesting. It's really great action." And it's great action in the same way that like 2012 is great action. Did you see where the limo drove through the building and jumped over the gap? It was great. It's that level
Did
of
you enjoy watching the
idiocy.
entire city get destroyed and all the people die? Yes.
Yes. Hey, remember that part in Superman where Superman's fighting Zod and they blow the building in half from punching so hard? That was so cool. That's pretty much what DBZ fans are like. They're stupid people. They're dumb. Well, not DBC fans, anime fans. And let's face it, until the past few years, that's pretty much what all anime was. It had a incredibly huge, powerful appeal to really, really stupid people. And fucking and this was a great parody of it, of how it was so stupid. Um, and now,
dude, dude, you are so getting off on your son getting bitched.
yeah, wait, where is that?
Weak, Kev. Fucking weak. Page
Nobody beats up
29.
my son except me, of course.
It's page 29. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
here it is.
basically it.
Later cock slaps. We don't
even
critique your
he,
style,
even he,
lifestyle,
the
Mr.
villain,
Huge.
is too masculine. he explains, "Why did you tell him all that? Because I am a
A
man."
man.
It's just like
Also, yeah, wait, the
getting
fucking you were totally getting off on your son getting bitched. Fucking here's another great example of how Buttlord GT does anime and manga better than anime and manga is not so fast, huge, you fight me, cocky dude. And then he goes, okay, yeah, and then just blasts him. Crap, how ironic. That is
just disintegrates him with one shot.
this would be an entire chapter. This one fight, it's 2 panels, but it would be an entire chapter, even in a comedy manga. Like even in One Punch Man, it would be at least half of the fucking chapter. At least half the chapter. Most likely, though, one chapter. And it would be fucking One Punch Man or Saitama would be on his way to the fight while other people are gonna fight cocky dude, and they're like, "Here, we gotta fight him. Oh, he's pretty tough. Yeah, but you will see my super move. Oh yeah, well I counter it." And it's supposed to be comedic. There's sometimes some comedic and funny stuff in that in One Punch Man, but usually you're just waiting for Saitama to show up and basically do this. But here's the thing: this was done in 2002. Yeah, it still says '02. I forgot if this comic was made throughout 2002 to 3, but I think this was just all made in 2002. But that's how old this comic was, and it was doing it before One Punch Man, even the original webcomic version of One Punch Man, ever existed. Probably by at least 10 years, maybe longer. And, so that's why it's very deserved to say that Buttlord GT is actually a better comic. It is better than One Punch Man because it was first, and also in a way because it still is like better. It has that better pacing. It's fucking ridiculous. It may be aged a little bit, but not in such a fucking terrible way. And here's actually one of my favorite things is the fucking one of the bad guys to steal his powers, which actually did happen in DBZ. They kiss, and there's a giant explosion. Cur gay, because it's so gay. I think we just witnessed the gayest event in history.
There's a lot of great exploitable moments from this, which is
Yes.
intentional.
Yes. Where's the part where the fucking yeah, this is the part where, oh no, he has to beat up his dad. I know it may be hard, son, but try not to think of him as your father. And then he fucking just
He
thinks,
he accidentally kills him with one kick.
probably not accidentally even,
No, no.
just rips his head off with one kick. This is so therapeutic. Wage. Anime isn't worth my wage. Fucking vaporizes him. And then there's suddenly just out of nowhere a fucking ad for Cafe Press Buttlord GT stuff. Which, remember when Cafe Press was a thing back in fucking 2002? I do.
We sure do.
Where's the part where they stare each other down so much it explodes?
Well, here's the password for activating the NAD
Yeah,
balls,
wait.
which is great. It's on page 38. The password is "I eat baby pussy."
And then, wait, that's not actually the password.
He fell for it. Ha ha ha.
Holy shit, they're fucking just laughing it up.
He just screams it into the air.
I
You
love
have
this.
to scream
This
it, so
splash
everyone
page is
screams.
actually great with fucking, for some reason, Brad in car that flips upside down. It's very fucking Fast and Furious, ridiculous. And then the car crashes and the door falls on him. Oh, it's goofy. It is fun. Oh yeah, here's fucking. Is this the Zwee fighting? Oh wait, no, this is just he Zwees and then fucking stabs him on his own boyfriend's horn. Snowflake, you bastard. He didn't do anything to you. He could never hurt you since he is incapably weak. You had best guard your rear because I'm going to penetrate your defenses. Could this be the legendary to-go time? Show me! And then he's been trained in the art of Zwee fighting. I might actually have to try punching and kicking. Yeah, that was one thing that DBZ did to fucking save on its budget, was just have the teleporting around back and forth to imply fighting.
They're moving so fast I can't even see
Can't
them, and
even
of course,
see 'em.
It's just like fucking. It's just some blurry lines, some wavy lines.
It's just here on page 49 though. If they fucking it's glutes and huge, like punching each other's fists so hard that dude, it made a nuclear explosion. That is totally badass. Nuclear fist detected, son of Rear Admiral. Whoa, check it out. This nuclear fist detected is a reference to StarCraft 1. Remember StarCraft 1? I like this also. Fucking check out this huge, check out this sweet splash panel that is full of implied action. There are some spelling errors, and they actually just only make this comic more quaint. I could read like 50 more pages of this bullshit. Huge, huge, huge. Oh, I love this comic. Anyways, here's what I would say: just go and fucking read this comic for yourself. Go Google Buttlord GT. It can't be that hard to find, maybe. And if it is, then you can't fucking find it. I don't know if I would even say go on CO and ask them if they fucking.
Did we ever post the whole thing to our
Oh wait,
fan board?
here's one of my fucking favorite things is when fucking Goku shows up, or Kevin, whatever the fuck he is, shows up and they punch him in the fucking dick and balls or something, but he just goes, ha ha, faugs. And then he fucking kicks and punches them in the dick and balls, both at the same time. Rarg my fucking balls, my nads, rarg. It's pledge allegiance to the Hugh Fauk. Just fucking, oh, this is good stuff. Oh,
It's just a pure joy. It's
yes.
pure joy reading every single thing.
It's something they made just to entertain themselves, and you get to join in on it. It's wonderful. And here's the part where they stare at each other, the dotted lines slam together and explode. It's fucking the fucking one of the fucking Piccolo guys goes, "Holy fuck, that is the sweetest thing ever." It's so stupid. The way the characters talk is so stupid that it's aged badly into a way that's still good, because now it just reads as aged.
It's a perfect encapsulation of the era, which is important and needed.
It's sort of like people thought talking like this was funny back then, and it was funny back then. But the thing is, in Marvel Comics, to make characters sound like young and hip, the fucking Marvel superheroes actually talk like this all the time now, and it's really irritating because you're supposed to like them, whereas in this, you're kind of just, there's not really any good guys, not necessarily any, but then you still kind of like them all anyways because you hate them. Oh, and also, this is kisses from heaven cockholes and then farts through the entire planet so much that the entire planet is going to explode. It's literally the good guys' fucking incompetence destroyed. This is so epic. This fucking huge is so big. My bigness is perfection. That's another great line from this. You are some kind of meat miracle. Yo, Flake, check this out, and then punches him in his balls. His legs are still small, and so I'm losing it. Another spelling error. And then this is where even the villain is like, what is wrong with you? It's some kind of beefy lava shower.
Because the main hero protagonist has so utterly fucked everything up.
Yes, just like in Dragon Ball Z, he is incompetent. And stupid, and
retard.
Through his inactions, either his inactions or his incompetence, the fucking planet will be destroyed. Here's a nice, but also weirdly sudden, fourth wall joke. Yarg, webcomics everywhere, lend me your plot. Elsewhere, start please, I swear, we have no plot to give thee. He's wearing a Ranma half t-shirt, just like every fucking gay weeb like that dumb show. That show sucked, by the way. Ranma half sucked. Ran ends pronounced Ranma.
It's very, very typical fucking grandma fucking, but it's very typical fucking
Yeah. And
Weeaboo.
then at the end he defeats the bad guy with fucking pop up. So it kind of almost like just goes off the rails with fourth wallishness.
Kabaum.com.
Kaum. It's
Kaum.
just ridiculous. And then oh yeah, they're trying to get off the planet, and then the fucking planet explodes, and it literally ends with they just all die, and they go to the fucking the other dimension or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be,
The
and they have
heaven
a
dimension or
barbecue.
some
Hey
shit.
guys, let's have a barbecue, which is I guess the sort of in between moment for every story arc where it's supposed to be. It's sort of like the Chris Claremont era of X-Men, where after the Danger Room session, someone would walk in with fucking a tray of glasses of lemonade. Storm would walk in with fucking a glass of Sprite, and Kitty Pryde would go, Sprite, this is delicious. And so DBZ was doing that where like every time they weren't fighting something that's literally going to kill all the people on the planet while fucking Goku stands there getting a fist pounded into his ball sack. When that's not happening, they're having a barbecue just to show how delightful they are and quirky they all are. Oh no, is Vegeta, is he upset about how much the food is being overcooked? It's like fanfic slow burn coffee shop AU stuff, I guess, except it actually happened in the fucking Dragon Ball Z shit. So, yeah, and that's Buttlord GT. I scrolled through pretty much the whole thing, and I would say read it for yourself. We really didn't spoil the great stuff, which is just the jokes. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know the
There's
ending or
pure
not to
joy.
enjoy it.
There's pure joy in just consuming, just taking your time with it.
Savoring it like a box of fine wine. But one thing I will say, in the competition, if now it's not a competition, you can enjoy whatever you want. But Lord GT is better than One Punch Man. The end. One Punch Man is actually still good though. I mean, we
It's
didn't fucking really
it's
say
all right.
otherwise. But
It's okay, I guess.
it's okay, I guess. 5 out of 5. It's okay. 5 out of 5 out of 10. It's really okay.
5 out of 5 out of 10.
Yeah, wait. So One Punch Man gets a 5 out of 10, but Lord GT gets a 5 out of 5. So but Lord GT wins because he gets a perfect score. They got a 5 after all. I mean, shit. So make sure to unlike, share, hit unsubscribe, don't hit the bell for don't notifications, and then for real, unironically, donate money to our Patreon. More money than you can afford until you go homeless. Shoot you in the belly. I mean, oh no, not that. And make sure to keep an eye out somehow for further videos. Yay!